The asteroid colony was silent when Ethan awoke the next morning. The hum of the workshop greeted him like an old friend, and the small drones scuttled about, performing their tasks with increasing efficiency. Vaylor's hologram flickered softly, and the AI's broken yet expressive voice called out, "Human. Activity detected. External response. Approaching." Ethan paused, confused. "External response? What do you mean?" Vaylor's hologram stabilized. "Signal. Emitted. Previous activations. Detected. Other civilizations aware. Proximity. Unknown." Ethan's stomach tightened. He had not realized that powering up the Viren systems had broadcast a signal across the galaxy. Somewhere, distant watchers were now aware that a human had awakened the lost secrets of the Virens. Curiosity, which had once been his driving force, now carried weighty consequences. He glanced at the small Viren ship. Its systems were now fully operational, and he could navigate it across space with ease. Yet the thought of drawing attention to himself made him hesitate. Even a human with skill and courage could not ignore the vast and unpredictable dangers of alien civilizations. "Vaylor," he asked, "who's coming? Can they reach me quickly?" "Unable. Precise identification. Signal detected. Advanced. Fleets. Approaching," Vaylor replied, voice hesitant. "Human. Caution. Advised." Ethan nodded, adrenaline surging. He began working quickly, repairing and modifying the workshop's defenses. Using a combination of human engineering and Viren technology, he activated energy shields around the structure and set up automated defense drones. These drones, once clumsy and slow, now moved with precision, forming patrol patterns and scanning for incoming signals. Hours later, as Ethan monitored the systems, he detected the first alien ships entering the asteroid sector. They were small reconnaissance vessels, sleek and silent, moving like predators in the void. Their sensors swept across the workshop, scanning for life signs, energy sources, and unusual activity. Ethan held his breath. One wrong move could trigger an attack, and though the drones were capable, he was just one human against multiple unknown civilizations. Yet he felt a thrill unlike anything he had experienced before. This was no longer about exploration. It was about survival and proving human ingenuity. The first probes reached the workshop. Ethan had anticipated this. He activated the drones, which intercepted the probes, disabling them without destroying them. He wanted the aliens to know a human was here, capable but not reckless. Vaylor observed silently. "Human strategy. Effective. Adaptation. Unusual." Ethan smirked. "Adaptation is what humans do best. You should know that by now." For hours, Ethan worked tirelessly, managing the defense systems, repairing machinery, and monitoring the approaching alien vessels. He studied their movements, their patterns, and their technology, learning quickly. Every observation added to his understanding, and with each passing hour, he grew more confident. Humans were often underestimated in the galaxy, but now Ethan intended to show why. As night fell over the asteroid, Ethan decided to test a new modification. He activated a Viren energy pulse generator, directing a concentrated beam into space. The pulse illuminated the asteroid field, creating a temporary shield and disorienting the approaching vessels. The drones moved swiftly, attacking strategically to disable sensors and communication arrays on the alien ships. From inside the workshop, Ethan watched the holographic displays. The alien vessels began to retreat, unable to cope with the unexpected defenses. The human mechanic, alone in a ruined workshop, had turned the tables on an entire fleet of advanced scouts. Vaylor's hologram brightened, almost glowing with approval. Human ingenuity? Impressive. Potential exceeds expectation. Ethan smiled, but he did not allow himself to relax. He knew this was only the beginning. Somewhere, larger fleets and more capable adversaries would respond. The galaxy had been alerted, and humans had just announced their presence in a way few would have anticipated. The following days were a whirlwind of activity. Ethan worked tirelessly, combining Viren technology with his own innovations. He repaired and upgraded the workshop's energy shields, built new drones with enhanced speed and firepower, and even modified some of the Viren weapon systems to respond to human commands. Each day brought new challenges, and each day he overcame them, proving that creativity and determination could rival technology itself. But it was not just machines that Ethan had to consider. He also studied the crystalline data cores, unlocking information about Viren fleet's navigation systems and distant colonies. The more he learned, the more he realized the scope of what he had uncovered. The Virens had been explorers, scientists, and warriors, leaving behind secrets that could reshape the balance of power across the galaxy. One evening, as Ethan worked on the energy shields, Valar issued a warning. Human, distant presence. Approaching, unknown intent. Prepare. Ethan looked at the sensors. A larger fleet was entering the sector, moving faster than the scouts he had encountered before. This time it was not just reconnaissance. These ships were armed, equipped for combat, and clearly intending to investigate, or possibly seize, the Viren technology. Ethan felt a surge of determination. He was no longer just a mechanic. He was the guardian of an ancient civilization's legacy. He activated all defenses, repositioned drones, and modified the energy shields for maximum efficiency. Every decision he made was critical, and there was no margin for error. As the alien fleet approached, Ethan noticed something extraordinary. The fleet sensors were struggling to adapt to the unique combination of Viren and human modifications. His improvisations, which might have seemed minor to a human eye, created unpredictable outcomes in the alien technology. Drones moved unpredictably, shields fluctuated, and communication signals became scrambled. For the first time, Ethan realized the full extent of human ingenuity. While aliens relied on established protocols and rigid patterns, humans were flexible, creative, and unpredictable. The very traits they had underestimated in him were now his greatest weapon. Hours passed in tense preparation. Then, as the fleet drew closer, Ethan made a bold decision. Using the workshop's Viren energy systems, he created a decoy signal, projecting a false workshop location several kilometers away. The alien fleet, drawn to the decoy, diverted their course, giving Ethan a temporary advantage. Valar observed in silent awe. Human tactics, extraordinary. Adaptation, survival. Ethan leaned back, exhausted but exhilarated. He had faced the first real test, and humans had prevailed. He knew, however, that this was only the beginning. The galaxy was vast, filled with civilizations that would respond in ways he could not yet predict. Yet he felt ready. Humans had a way of surviving, of thriving, and of turning impossible situations into opportunities. As night fell, Ethan walked to the edge of the asteroid plateau, looking out at the stars. Somewhere out there, fleets of alien ships were analyzing the signals he had sent. Some might be curious, others wary, and a few might be hostile. But Ethan felt no fear. He had awakened the Viren technology, and he had proved that a single human could stand against forces far greater than himself. Returning to the workshop, he glanced at the small drones moving about, the hum of the energy shields, and the dormant Viren ship resting in its bay. The workshop was alive, responsive, and ready. And at the center of it all was a human mechanic, resourceful, clever, and unafraid. Ethan knew that the galaxy would soon learn a valuable lesson. Humans were not to be underestimated. Creativity, adaptability, and courage were qualities that no advanced civilization could easily predict or counter. And as he prepared for the challenges that lay ahead, he felt a deep sense of pride. This ruined workshop, long abandoned and forgotten, had become the stage on which a human would make his mark. Ethan Ryder, the mechanic who had stumbled into a Viren secret, had already shaken the galaxy in ways that few could imagine. And this was only the beginning. Tomorrow he would explore even further, unlocking more secrets, awakening more technology, and facing challenges that would test not only his skill, but the very essence of human ingenuity. The adventure was far from over, and Ethan was ready. For now, the workshop hummed softly in the silence, a testament to the unexpected power of curiosity, persistence, and the relentless spirit of humanity. Ethan Ryder worked tirelessly, moving through the workshop with practiced efficiency. The small Viren drones buzzed around him, carrying tools, repairing broken circuits, and performing calculations he had never imagined possible. Valar's hologram glimmered steadily in the corner, now fully aware of Ethan's skill and ingenuity. Human. Strategy effective, Valar said. Unknown. Civilizations. Monitoring. Caution advised. Ethan nodded. I know, I can feel it. They're watching. But let them watch. Humans always find a way. Over the next few days, reports from the workshop's sensors indicated that alien fleets were responding to the signals Ethan had inadvertently broadcast. Unlike the small scouting vessels that had first arrived, these new ships were larger, more organized, and heavily armed. They moved cautiously but deliberately toward the asteroid colony. Ethan realized that he could not rely on defensive measures alone. He needed to think strategically, combining his understanding of Viren technology with human intuition and creativity. He activated the workshop's communication arrays to analyze the approaching fleet's movements. Their formations were precise, predictable in a way that only highlighted their reliance on rigid systems. "That's our advantage," Ethan muttered. "They think in patterns. I don't." He began modifying the drones, giving them new behaviors and unpredictable flight patterns. Using the Viren energy generators, he created temporary energy fields that could shield the workshop and its perimeter, while confusing incoming sensors. Every device, every machine, and every piece of technology in the workshop was now integrated into a single system designed not just to defend, but to outthink the enemy. As the alien fleets arrived in orbit, Ethan activated his plan. Drones launched from the workshop in a coordinated swarm, weaving around the asteroid, projecting false energy signatures that made it appear the colony had multiple defense positions. The larger ships hesitated, scanning for threats, while Ethan's improvised energy pulses disrupted their sensors. From the control console, he watched their confusion unfold. The alien commanders likely expected humans to be simple, predictable, and easy to manipulate. Instead, they encountered a workshop that seemed alive, responsive, and far beyond their calculations. Valar's voice carried a note of awe. "Human. Creativity exceed expectation. Potential extraordinary." Ethan smiled, adjusting a control panel. "That's humans for you. We improvise. We adapt. We survive. We win." Hours passed in tense observation. Every time the alien fleet tried to advance, Ethan's systems created unexpected countermeasures. Drones emerged from hidden bays. Energy shields fluctuated in ways the enemy could not anticipate, and holographic decoys projected multiple false targets across space. Each move frustrated the alien commanders, who had grown used to predictable opponents. As the night deepened, Ethan noticed that some ships were attempting to communicate. He listened carefully to the signals, decoding fragments. They seemed to request parley, unsure whether the human in the workshop was a threat or a curiosity. Ethan considered responding. His voice echoed across the workshop. "Let's see what they want. Humans are curious, but we don't back down either." With Valar's help, he sent a cautious transmission, stating that the workshop was occupied and under protection. It was careful, polite, and clear. Humans had the knowledge and the technology to defend themselves, and they would not surrender Viren secrets without understanding the consequences. The alien commanders paused, seemingly surprised by the humans' confidence. Reports from distant fleets indicated that whispers were spreading across their networks. A single human mechanic had awakened Viren technology and successfully defended a hidden workshop. The galaxy's perception of humanity was shifting, quietly but irreversibly. Encouraged, Ethan continued to enhance the workshop. He combined Viren propulsion systems with human engineering, creating drones capable of rapid maneuvers and complex tactics. Shields were reinforced with layers of adaptive energy fields, making direct attacks increasingly futile. Every day, the workshop became not just a defensive position, but a demonstration of human ingenuity and adaptability. Then came the first real challenge. A fleet of alien warships arrived, fully armed and intent on testing the workshop's defenses. Ethan activated every drone, every shield, and every energy pulse generator he could manage. The first strike came with precision, weapons firing in synchronized volleys. Ethan's drones responded instantly, moving in unexpected patterns that disrupted the alien attack. Energy shields absorbed the initial strikes, and the workshop's defensive pulses reflected part of the attack back into space, disabling the leading ship's sensors. The alien commanders faltered, unsure how to counter a system that seemed to anticipate their every move. From inside the workshop, Ethan's focus was sharp. "They think faster than I expected," he muttered, adjusting the shield modulation. "But humans think differently. Let's show them what that means." He triggered a sequence of holographic decoys, projecting false energy signatures across the asteroid field. The alien warships, believing they were targeting the main facility, fired upon the decoys. Meanwhile, Ethan's drones slipped past the attackers, disabling their communication arrays and creating confusion within the fleet. Valar's hologram flickered brightly. Human tactics. Unprecedented survival. Extraordinary. Ethan allowed himself a brief smile. Not just survival, Valar. Humans don't just survive. We adapt, we innovate, and we fight when we have to. As the alien fleet retreated, reports indicated a growing sense of respect and perhaps fear. Humans were no longer just a minor species, dismissed by many across the galaxy. Here was one human, working alone, outthinking advanced civilizations, combining alien technology with sheer human ingenuity. In the following days, Ethan focused on expansion. He explored hidden chambers in the workshop, uncovering more Viren machinery, advanced drones, and even partial blueprints for a larger fleet. Each discovery allowed him to increase the workshop's capabilities, making it a center of both defense and research. He realized that humans had something unique in this galaxy: creativity and adaptability. Alien civilizations relied on patterns, protocols, and predictability. Humans, by contrast, thrived on improvisation and ingenuity. Even a single human, armed with the right knowledge and determination, could turn the tide in ways others could not predict. Word of Ethan's exploits began to spread quietly across interstellar networks. Traders, explorers, and even some alien diplomats shared the story of the human mechanic who had awakened Viren technology and defended a hidden workshop. The galaxy began to whisper. Perhaps humans were not to be underestimated. Perhaps their creativity and resilience were more powerful than anyone had imagined. Ethan worked late into the night, modifying drones, enhancing shields, and studying Viren energy systems. He realized that this was only the beginning. The galaxy was vast, filled with civilizations that would eventually respond more aggressively. But he felt ready. Humans had survived impossible challenges before, and with determination and ingenuity, they could continue to do so. As he gazed at the stars from the workshop's observation deck, Ethan reflected on the journey so far. He had arrived as a simple mechanic seeking adventure. Now he was the guardian of a lost civilization's technology, the strategist behind a defense that had outwitted fleets, and a symbol of human potential. Somewhere beyond the stars, alien civilizations were taking note. Whispers of a human mechanic capable of awakening Viren secrets were spreading. Across the galaxy, perceptions were beginning to change. Humans were no longer seen as a minor species. They were curious, resourceful, and capable of achievements that few could imagine. Ethan returned to the workshop, examining the drones as they moved with precision, the humming energy shields, and the dormant Viren ships waiting to be explored further. Everything was ready for the next challenge, and he knew it would come, but for the first time he felt a sense of confidence. The galaxy could underestimate humans, dismiss them, or even attempt to challenge them. Yet with creativity, courage, and determination, humans could not just survive, they could excel. Ethan smiled, looking at Valar's hologram. We've done well so far, but the galaxy is just beginning to notice humans, and when they do, they'll understand that we're not so easy to ignore. Valar's voice, steady and clear, responded. Human potential, remarkable. The galaxy must recognize adaptability, creativity, survival. Ethan nodded. Exactly. Humans don't just follow the rules of the galaxy. We write our own, and from here, we're going to show them exactly what that means. The workshop hummed softly, alive with energy and purpose. Outside, the stars stretched endlessly, silent witnesses to the beginning of a story that would shake civilizations, challenge assumptions, and demonstrate the power of a single determined human. And at the center of it all, Ethan Ryder, the mechanic who had purchased a ruined alien workshop, stood ready to face whatever the galaxy would throw at him next. The asteroid colony was quiet, but the workshop hummed with life. Ethan Ryder moved among the drones, adjusting controls, repairing minor malfunctions, and monitoring energy levels. Valar's holographic form now shone steadily, its AI fully functional and more responsive than ever. Human, systems optimized, Viren technology fully operational, Valar said. Potential, extraordinary. Collaboration, complete. Ethan smiled, feeling a surge of pride. After weeks of work, countless hours of study, and tireless improvisation, he had transformed the abandoned workshop into a hub of alien technology and human innovation. He had not only awakened Viren machines but had improved upon them, integrating human engineering principles that made the systems unpredictable and uniquely powerful. The galaxy, of course, had noticed. Sensors from distant colonies and fleets had picked up unusual energy signatures emanating from the asteroid. Traders, explorers, and diplomats whispered about the human who had taken control of Viren technology, defended the workshop from alien fleets, and survived against impossible odds. Humans, once dismissed as minor players, were suddenly being recognized as a force capable of innovation, adaptation, and survival. Ethan knew that word would spread, but he remained focused on the workshop. He was determined to explore the Viren archives fully. Hidden compartments revealed more crystalline data cores, each containing information about star systems, energy sources, and alien research that had been lost for centuries. He carefully studied each one, taking meticulous notes and making adjustments to the workshop's systems. One day, while examining a particularly large core, Ethan discovered a map leading to a Viren research station far from the asteroid. The station had been abandoned in haste, but its technology was rumored to be intact. Ethan's mind raced. If he could access the station, humans could gain knowledge that even the most advanced civilizations in the galaxy had forgotten. "Valar, what do you think?" Ethan asked. The AI's hologram flickered slightly before answering. "Human undecision. Strategic. Opportunity, access. Highly beneficial. Caution advised." Ethan nodded. Caution had always been his companion, but he had learned to trust his instincts and his creativity. "Then we go. Let's see what's waiting out there." The Viren ship, now fully repaired and upgraded with human modifications, glowed under the workshop's lights. Ethan entered the control deck, feeling the familiar hum of advanced energy systems beneath his feet. He adjusted the navigation controls, inputting coordinates for the distant research station. The ship's engines roared to life, and with a smooth ascent, they left the asteroid colony behind. As they traveled through hyperspace, Ethan reflected on how far he had come. He had started as a simple mechanic, curious and restless, seeking adventure. Now he was the master of a workshop filled with alien technology, a strategist capable of defending against entire fleets, and a symbol of human ingenuity. The galaxy was beginning to take notice, and humans were no longer the underestimated species they once were. Several hours later, the ship emerged near the research station. From a distance, the station appeared intact but weathered, orbiting a small planet. Its outer hull shimmered faintly, protected by energy shields that had survived centuries of neglect. Ethan's heart raced with excitement. "Valar, this is it. Let's see what the Virens left behind." The AI responded, "Human. Systems. Compatible. Potential. Discovery. Significant. Proceed carefully." Ethan piloted the ship toward the station, navigating through debris fields and remnants of smaller satellites. The energy shields flared as he activated the docking sequence, guiding the ship safely inside the station's hangar. The interior was massive, filled with machinery, databanks, and dormant drones. The air, though breathable thanks to the station's emergency system, smelled faintly metallic. Ethan stepped out of the ship, his boots echoing against the floor. Valar projected a holographic map of the station, highlighting areas of interest and potential danger. Ethan began exploring systematically, restoring power to sections of the station and activating dormant systems. Hours turned into days as Ethan worked tirelessly. Each section revealed new Viren technology, drones capable of self-repair, energy weapons far beyond human design, and data cores containing detailed star charts and research notes. But perhaps most important was a central chamber containing the Viren AI core, a superintelligent system that controlled much of the station's operations. "Valar, this is it. The heart of their knowledge," Ethan said. The AI's hologram flickered nervously. "Human integration. Complex. Caution. Unknown capabilities. High risk. Significant reward." Ethan nodded, determination in his eyes. "We faced challenges before. We adapt, we survive, and we learn. Let's do this." With careful precision, Ethan interfaced the workshop's systems with the Viren AI core. Lights flickered, circuits hummed, and energy surged through the station. Valar assisted, translating Viren protocols and guiding Ethan through complex sequences. Slowly, the AI core came to life, its voice deep, resonant, and powerful. Intruder, identified, human. Compatible, potential, extraordinary. Ethan smiled. That's right. Humans can do amazing things even when no one expects it. The Viren AI, now fully awakened, began sharing its knowledge. It revealed long-lost research, advanced propulsion methods, energy manipulation techniques, and even warnings about ancient galactic threats that had driven the Virens to abandon their colonies. Ethan absorbed the information quickly, integrating it with human engineering principles and his own understanding of creativity and adaptation. With the AI's cooperation, Ethan enhanced the station's defenses, improved its energy systems, and upgraded drones to levels that rivaled entire fleets. The combination of human ingenuity and Viren technology created a force that could not be easily challenged by any single civilization. News of Ethan's discovery spread even faster across the galaxy. Traders, explorers, and diplomats shared stories of a human who had awakened Viren technology, defended workshops from fleets, and accessed a lost AI with knowledge that could rival entire civilizations. The galaxy began to recognize that humans were capable, resourceful, and adaptable, traits that no advanced species could easily predict or counter. Ethan decided to use the station as a hub for human innovation. He reached out to skilled engineers, scientists, and explorers across human colonies, inviting them to study Viren technology and collaborate. Slowly, a network of human researchers formed, working together to unlock the full potential of the ancient alien civilization. But Ethan did not forget the lessons he had learned. He knew that the galaxy was vast and unpredictable, and that other civilizations would continue to monitor, respond, and perhaps challenge humans. Yet he felt confident. Humans had something unique: creativity, adaptability, and determination. With these qualities, even a single human or a small group could accomplish extraordinary feats. From the station's observation deck, Ethan looked out at the stars. The galaxy stretched endlessly, filled with mysteries, dangers, and opportunities. He felt a deep sense of pride and responsibility. Humanity was no longer a minor player. They were innovators, survivors, and potential protectors of knowledge long thought lost. Baylor's hologram appeared beside him. Human, achievement, remarkable, galaxy, now aware, humans, potential, recognized. Ethan nodded. Exactly. We've shown the galaxy what humans can do, not just survive, but thrive, innovate, and inspire, and this is just the beginning. The station hummed with life, energy coursing through its systems, drones moving efficiently, and the Viren AI core providing knowledge and guidance. Humans were no longer passive observers. They were active participants in the galaxy's future. Ethan felt a sense of fulfillment. He had started as a mechanic seeking adventure. Along the way, he had awakened Viren technology, defended workshops from fleets, and unlocked secrets that had been dormant for centuries. Now he stood at the center of a human renaissance, demonstrating that determination, creativity, and courage could change the course of the galaxy. And as he gazed at the stars, he realized something important. A human mechanic, alone at first, had shaken the galaxy, but humanity as a whole was only beginning to rise. With knowledge, ingenuity, and the willingness to take risks, humans could accomplish anything, even facing challenges that civilizations far older and more advanced might never imagine. Ethan smiled, looking at Valar and the humming systems around him. Let's continue, my friend. The galaxy has much to learn about humans, and together we'll make sure they never forget our name. The station thrummed with energy, a symbol of human ingenuity and potential. Outside, the stars stretched endlessly, silent witnesses to a species that had begun to redefine its place among the stars. And at the heart of it all, Ethan Ryder, the mechanic who had purchased a ruined alien workshop, stood triumphant, not just as a survivor or explorer, but as a harbinger of humanity's rise. The galaxy had learned an important lesson. Humans were not to be underestimated. They were creative, adaptable, and capable of achievements that could shake even the oldest civilizations to their core. The adventure had only begun. Lena Carter had never imagined that losing her job would feel like the end of the world. She had spent the last 8 years as a nurse at the Celestis Orbital Hospital, tending to humans and aliens alike, always putting the needs of others above her own. Her days were long, often filled with emergencies, unusual illnesses, and endless paperwork. But she loved her work. It gave her purpose. But today, as she stepped into the hospital for what she thought would be a routine shift, everything changed. The announcement had come over the hospital's intercom system, the voice flat and impersonal. Due to budget constraints, the following positions are terminated effective immediately. Lena Carter among others. Lena froze. Her heart pounded. Budget cuts? Terminated? She glanced around the bright, sterile corridors filled with the hum of medical machines and the soft chatter of staff. No one looked at her, no one said a word. It was as if she had vanished. She packed her few personal items into a small bag, some medical tools she had been allowed to keep, a few photos of her friends and her lucky pen, and walked out of the hospital into the lower sectors of the colony. The lower sectors were a sharp contrast to the pristine upper levels. Narrow alleys, glowing advertisements for dubious products, and the constant clanging of machinery filled the area. Lena felt a hollow ache in her chest. For the first time in years, she was uncertain of her future. She wandered aimlessly, letting her feet take her wherever they wanted. Her mind was heavy with thoughts of failure and loss. That was when she heard it, a faint, pained sound, almost like a cry. She stopped, her ears straining. The sound came again, sharper this time, echoing from one of the abandoned docking bays nearby. Curiosity and concern overcame her despair. Lena walked toward the sound, squeezing through a gap in the metal walls. What she saw made her gasp. A creature lay crumpled on the cold metal floor. It was small, about the size of a large dog, but it was unlike anything Lena had ever seen. Its scales shimmered in shades of deep green and gold, reflecting the dim lights of the docking bay. Wings, delicate but clearly strong, were folded awkwardly at its sides. Its eyes, large and amber, looked up at her with a mixture of fear and trust. "Hello?" Lena whispered, unsure if the creature could understand her. She knelt slowly, careful not to startle it. The creature whimpered and tried to shift, but a strange glowing wound on its side prevented it from moving. Instinctively, Lena checked her bag for something useful. She found a med kit she had grabbed earlier, along with some antiseptic spray. Hands steady despite the adrenaline, she approached the creature. "Don't worry," she said gently. "I won't hurt you." The creature tilted its head, watching her carefully. Lena could feel an unusual warmth from it, a kind of quiet intelligence that made her pause. She worked quickly, cleaning the wound and applying bandages. The creature hissed softly but did not resist. "This is unusual," she murmured to herself, pulling out a few leftover nutrient packs from her bag. "You must be hungry too." She offered one, and to her surprise, the creature took it delicately with its claw, nibbling as if it understood her kindness. By the time she finished, the creature was calmer. It curled up slightly, resting its head against her knee. Lena smiled despite herself. She had no idea what species this was, or how it had ended up here, but she couldn't leave it behind. Not when it had already trusted her. But bringing it back to her small apartment was not simple. The lower sectors were patrolled by security drones, and she couldn't risk being seen carrying an alien creature. She waited until the streets were quieter, then carefully lifted the creature and wrapped it in a thick blanket. Its wings were fragile, so she supported them as best as she could. The journey home was tense. Every shadow seemed threatening, every hum of machinery a warning. Yet somehow they made it. Lena's apartment was small and cluttered, with just enough space for her bed, a small kitchen, and a work desk littered with books and medical supplies. She placed the creature gently on the floor. It looked around, sniffing the unfamiliar surroundings. Lena watched with fascination as it explored, careful not to touch anything too quickly. She had no idea what it ate, how it breathed, or if it had any dangerous abilities, but so far it had shown nothing but caution and trust. "You need a name," Lena said softly. She paused, thinking. The creature's scales glimmered like fire in the dim light. "Ember," she decided. Ember. It seemed to fit. Ember looked at her almost approvingly and settled in a corner, curling its tail around its body. Lena sighed, sitting on the edge of her bed. She felt a strange mix of fear, excitement, and awe. Here she was, a human who had just lost everything, suddenly caring for a creature that might be the last of its kind. Over the next few hours, Lena tended to Ember as best as she could. She used her knowledge of medicine, improvising treatments from what she had on hand. Every small movement of the creature fascinated her. The twitch of its wings, the flicker of its eyes, the tiny sparks of light that occasionally ran along its scales. There was a power in Ember that Lena couldn't explain, a sense that it was more than just a young dragon. Night came, and the colony quieted down. Lena watched Ember sleep in a small nest of blankets she had arranged. Despite everything she had lost, she felt a spark of hope. Maybe, just maybe, saving this creature was the beginning of something bigger. As Lena drifted off to sleep, she could not have imagined the events that the next day would bring. Little did she know Ember was not just a lost creature. It was a being of great importance in the galaxy. And her simple act of kindness would soon attract attention far beyond the colony, from civilizations she had never dreamed existed. Lena slept, unaware that her life was about to change forever. The stars outside twinkled like distant promises, and Ember's scales shimmered faintly in the darkness, as if acknowledging the path they would walk together. And somewhere in the vastness of space, sensors had already detected Ember's presence. Signals were sent, decisions were made, and a journey that would change the galaxy began quietly in Lena's small apartment. With a human nurse and a wounded dragon, the fall of Lena Carter had, unknowingly, set the stage for the rise of humanity's unexpected hero. The morning sun filtered through the small window of Lena's apartment, painting Ember's shimmering scales in warm gold and green hues. Lena stirred, rubbing the sleep from her eyes, and immediately glanced toward the corner where Ember slept. The creature had grown slightly overnight, or maybe it had just seemed larger in the soft morning light. Either way, it looked stronger, more alert. "Good morning, Ember," Lena whispered. She knelt and offered a small portion of nutrient paste she had prepared. Ember sniffed, then carefully ate, making soft, almost melodic noises. Lena couldn't help but smile. Caring for Ember had already begun to change her world. After breakfast, Lena moved to her desk. She had spent the night thinking. Ember wasn't just an ordinary animal, she could feel it. There was intelligence there, a curiosity that mirrored her own. And the faint sparks of light along its scales, like tiny arcs of electricity, had become more frequent. Lena wondered what kind of being Ember really was. As she was organizing a few medical supplies, a soft vibration came from her wrist communicator. She glanced at it, confused. The device was old and rarely used since she had lost her job. A message flashed across the screen. "You have a visitor. Approach with caution." "Identity unknown." Lena froze. Who could possibly know she had Ember? And more importantly, who would be coming? Her heart raced, but her curiosity overcame her fear. She carefully opened the door, peeking into the hallway. There was no one in sight. Then a soft, almost musical voice spoke from the communicator itself. "Lena Carter, we know of your actions. Your kindness has not gone unnoticed." Lena's eyes widened. The voice was calm, intelligent, and alien. "Who is this?" she asked aloud, glancing down at Ember, who was now standing and tilting its head as if it understood her question. "You have saved a being of great importance." The voice continued. "It is rare for humans to act with such courage and care. We wish to meet you." Before Lena could respond, the communicator clicked off. Her mind raced. Beings of importance? Why would anyone from the galaxy care about Ember and me? She knelt beside Ember, brushing a hand along its back. "Looks like we're famous," she whispered. Ember blinked slowly, the soft light along its scales flickering as though it approved. Lena couldn't help but feel a connection, a silent understanding passing between them. The rest of the morning passed uneventfully, but Lena noticed something strange. Even as she moved about her apartment, repairing a small medical scanner and organizing Ember's area, she could sense eyes, or at least sensors, watching her from outside. Shadows flitted past the window and soft vibrations pulsed through the walls. By mid-afternoon, the first unexpected contact arrived. A small drone, sleek and smooth with a silvery sheen, landed quietly in the corner of her apartment. Its sensors focused on Ember, then on Lena. A holographic panel emerged from its body, projecting a figure. The figure was tall, humanoid, with scales along its arms and a faint glow in its eyes. Its voice was gentle but carried authority. "Lena Carter," it said. "I am Carol, envoy of the Drakari Council. You have saved one of our young." We thank you, Lena stared. You mean Ember is a Drakari? Yes, Carol replied. Rare, intelligent, and powerful. The survival of your ward affects more than one world. Your courage has proven your worth not only to us but across the galaxy. Lena's mind spun. The galaxy? You mean there are others? Like Ember? Yes, Carol said. But few remain. Ember is special, and now so are you. Ember stepped forward, its tail curling around Lena's legs protectively. Lena felt a surge of pride and fear. She had only wanted to help, but now it seemed she had become part of something far larger than herself. Carol extended a hand, or what Lena assumed was a hand, and a soft projection appeared. It showed Ember's kind, scattered across distant star systems. Images of majestic dragons soaring through alien skies, scales glittering under multiple suns flashed before her eyes. Lena could barely comprehend it. They are endangered, Carol continued. Ember is one of the few young ones left. And your act of kindness has saved not only a life but a legacy. Lena swallowed hard. I just did what anyone would do. Carol shook its head. Humans rarely act with such thoughtfulness without expectation. That is why we have observed your species with interest. You may be more capable than most realize, Lena blinked. The words sank in slowly. She had always thought of humans as ordinary, sometimes clumsy, sometimes flawed. But if an alien council considered her species remarkable, it was almost too much to believe. The envoy spoke again, now more urgently. Lena, there are those who would seek Ember for selfish gain. You must protect your ward. We will provide guidance, but the first step is to leave the colony safely. Leave? But where? Lena asked, fear tightening her chest. Carol's image flickered. To the orbiting sanctuary. There Ember will be safe and you will understand the importance of your actions. Lena looked down at Ember. The dragon blinked slowly, almost as if encouraging her. Taking a deep breath, she nodded. Okay. Ember, let's go. By evening, Lena had prepared a small carry pack with essentials. Carl had sent a small transport pod, sleek and quiet, to retrieve them. As she stepped inside with Ember, she could see the colony lights fading behind them. Lena's heart raced. The city she had always called home felt small now, almost insignificant compared to the vastness of space stretching before her. The pod moved swiftly, bypassing security checkpoints with Carol's remote guidance. Lena clutched Ember gently, noting how the young dragon leaned against her shoulder, almost as if it understood the importance of their journey. Lena Carter, Carol's voice spoke softly through the pod system. You have shown bravery and compassion. These qualities are rare and valuable. Humans may yet surprise the galaxy. Lena smiled despite her nerves. I hope I can live up to that. The stars outside shimmered like diamonds and Ember's scales glimmered in response, small arcs of energy dancing along its body. Lena realized that this was no ordinary creature. Ember was extraordinary, and together, they were stepping into a galaxy that was bigger and more mysterious than she had ever imagined. Hours passed in silence, broken only by Ember's soft breathing and the gentle hum of the pod's engines. Lena thought about the people she had worked with, the patients she had cared for, and the home she had lost. It all seemed distant now. She was moving towards something new, something unknown, and yet, for the first time in weeks, she felt hope, finally. The pod emerged from hyperspace into the orbit of a massive structure, the sanctuary. It was a breathtaking sight, an enormous station that seemed almost alive, with flowing architecture, glowing energy fields, and docking bays filled with ships of every imaginable design. Carol's voice spoke again. Welcome. Here, Ember will be protected, and here you will begin to understand the true scope of your actions. Lena stepped out of the pod, holding Ember carefully. The station felt alive with energy. Aliens of many species moved gracefully through the corridors, some curious, others cautious. Lena felt a wave of awe. She had saved one dragon, but this place, it felt as if she had stepped into the heart of a galaxy she had only glimpsed in dreams. Ember nuzzled her gently, and Lena realized something. Whatever lay ahead, she and the dragon would face it together. She had saved a life, and that life had now opened a door to possibilities she had never imagined. And far above them, in the darkness of space, 4 massive starships silently adjusted their positions, sensors trained on the sanctuary. They were coming for Ember and for Lena. The adventure had only just begun,